Hello everyone, Pallytime here. There's a new game that's going to be released soon, and I wanted to know if you guys were hyped or nah. Today we're going to be talking about Sea of Thieves, developed by Rare. You know, back in the day, Rare actually created some of my favorite games. They made Battletoads, Donkey Kong Country, GoldenEye 007, Banjo-Kazooie, and Perfect Dark, where I spent a ton of my childhood. Now they have their sights set on making a living, breathing world where you can carry out all of your pirate fantasies from your childhood. Sit back and relax, and I'll try to catch you up to speed on everything the Sea of Thieves has to offer. Sea of Thieves is being released by Microsoft for the Xbox One and PC. If it wasn't on the PC, we wouldn't be talking about it, let's be honest here. Sea of Thieves doesn't seem to be looking to hold your hand as you uncover a rich narrative of what's going on in the world. It doesn't seem to be that kind of game at all. It's meant for you to take the world at your own pace, very much allowing you to approach the world as if it's a sandbox. There are some factions that will give you missions to complete out in the open seas, more on that in just a little bit, but you can also just spend your days sailing around, looking at the islands, and trying to uncover treasure. They definitely seem to have a big focus on team play in Sea of Thieves, but you can also technically play the game as a solo player. It just may be a little more difficult for you to do that. Because of course, when you're out adventuring, you or your team won't be the only players out in the open world. It's very possible that that ship you see out on the horizon also sees you, and they want to take all your stuff. Because of course, let's be honest, pirates aren't known for being the most noble men out there. Or, you know, they could just be finishing up a supply run and want to avoid you like the plague so they can complete their mission of their own. You never really know what a player's intentions may be, well, at first glance anyway. Ships are also going to range in size depending on how big you want your crew to be. As a solo player, you'll have a much smaller ship that's easier for you to manage by yourself. I also imagine that this ship would be a little bit faster, so you could avoid your adversaries a little bit easier. As a 4-player crew, your ship is going to be much bigger, much more spread out, and each crew member is likely going to be responsible for some kind of role in order to achieve success. For instance, the captain can only steer the ship, and in larger vessels at least, the map you use to navigate is located below the deck. So someone's gonna have to go down below, out of the sun, to navigate for the captain using the map. There might be another problem though, like this giant sail in the middle of your vision! So having a member of your team up in the crow's nest, you know, maybe to spot an iceberg or something, is likely going to be useful as well. The developers seem to have a big focus on the player building their reputation in the world. Most of the way they talk about doing this is working with 3 factions that will be handing out missions or quests for the players to complete. One of those factions is the Gold Hoarders, and they are looking to do exactly what their name says: get gold. They send pirates out on missions to uncover buried treasure, some of which, of course, is still haunted by the previous owners. There's also other treasure missions, though, that can only be found if you sail out to an island and uncover its secrets by solving riddles and putting these clues together to find the secret treasure. If you're able to make it back in one piece, they'll give you a cut of the gold and maybe trust you with some better paying missions later on in your future. The Merchant Outpost is looking to control trade. They will pay pirates to collect supplies, things like munitions, explosives, and wildlife that you can find on this island. After you get them, you have to ferry them back across the ocean safely. If someone tries to take these supplies from you, then I hope you're ready to fight tooth and nail for your reward. And last but not least, the Order of Souls are a trading company that have found ways to extract magic from the skulls of fallen pirates. By accepting these missions, you better be pretty comfortable with your cutlass and flintlock pistol, because you'll need them to defeat the hordes of fallen pirates in between you and your magic skull objective. Like I said though, the developers really are making a big deal about this, you becoming your own pirate legend, no matter what you do. As if someone could look at you at a glance and know that you are the terror of the seas and you should be avoided. Or know that you spend too much time in the tavern and you're basically just the island's drunk. Now, I'm not totally sure how they're going to accomplish this. They mentioned that as you continue to do missions for these 3 factions, you'll unlock new titles, but to me, that doesn't really accomplish anything. Just because I see a title over your head, that may just mean you played the game longer than I have, especially if it's from NPC missions. Of course, you can also customize your character with a ton of different outfits and skins, but again, just because your hat's blue and mine's gray, does that really mean anything about our characters? I don't really think so. You know, I feel like this part's important, especially after some of the games that came out last year, but the World of Thieves will not be periodically generated. Everything in the game is handcrafted by the developers, and moving through the world is seamless. That means there's not going to be any loading screens to kind of cut up the action. Also, if you're curious, sailing around the world itself reportedly takes between 6 and 8 hours, but there should be plenty of outposts for you just to hang your boots up to dry if you need to. To me, it seems like a lot of the fun in this game is going to be the non-scripted, non-developer controlled player interactions out in the open world. Typically in games like this, I try to be as friendly as possible and greet everyone with a kind Canadian, "Oh, hello!" But I'm thinking that most people actually just adopt the shoot first and ask questions later kind of mentality. Now, the way at which you can actually shoot first is actually pretty varied from what we've seen so far. There's some footage of pirates swimming up to the ship in the dead of night to sneak on board undetected and get that surprise attack in. We have some really awesome footage of a pirate boarding another ship in the midst of a ship versus ship battle, just running off the front and shooting people. And we also have some footage of a guy being shot out of a cannon directly towards another vessel. Now, I'm assuming there's some kind of fall damage associated with this, kids. And remember, when you're being shot out and you hit water, it kind of acts like a solid instead of a liquid if you're going fast enough. Now, I don't know if we're going to see that in the game or not. Maybe water is a safe pillow landing, but in reality, don't try this at home. One thing I think I kind of glossed over when I was writing this, and I want to go back on the fact that team play is just such a big part of this game. Each player has a physical scroll in their hands that represents their mission that they accepted from one of the 3 factions. Before your crew sets out, everyone places their scrolls on a table, and as a team, you decide where to go and which scroll to do. Some players may have access to different missions and rewards than you do, so just because it's not the exact mission you wanted to complete when you woke up that day, doesn't mean you can't benefit greatly from helping out a friend. This also means that if you have a friend who just picked up the game, you don't have to wait for them to complete content before you can jump on board and experience the open seas together. As your team completes a mission, everyone that helped out also gets a cut of the rewards. However, if there is one crew member that's just driving you crazy, your team can vote to lock them up in the brig for the remainder of the mission. And they'll have to sit down in their little timeout cage below deck to think about everything they've done. Let's just hope that the ship doesn't take on too much water while they're down there, huh? Now, I'm sure I missed some things in today's video. This is definitely a game that piqued my interest in the last couple days, so I dove deep and tried to scour up as much information as I can in a bite-sized piece for you guys to enjoy. But now it's your turn. If you're hyped, hit the thumbs up button and tell me why you are hyped down in the comments. If you're not, sound off in the comments as well. I want to hear both sides of the story. I want to see both sides of the coin. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of everything I'm doing here on the channel. You know, this actually used to be my job for TGN to make videos like this a few times a week, but this is the first one I've wanted to do for myself in quite some time. The game actually looks really interesting, and I'm looking forward to jumping in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nonetheless, if you want to check out some more of my content that you may have missed, on the left side of the screen is an epic journey that I went on in the game Ark Survival Evolved. And on the right are my first impressions of a very fun game called Streets of Rogue that I recently picked up on Steam. If you're on a mobile device and you can't see those annotations, well, then they'll be in the video description. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.